couple years ago, I was in Ohio at a shopping mall. An old white lady, this is true, she was following me around the mall, which sounds paranoid, but I'm sure she was following me. Mean lady, too. You ever see a woman with lines on her face that just tell you, like, even if she smiled, it looked like it would hurt the muscles in her face? I knew she was following me because she was at places that had nothing to do with her. I'd be looking around like, what is this old bitch doing in GameStop and Foot Locker and all the places I like to go? Every time I see her, she'd just be looking at me on me. And eventually I forgot about her. So then after I'm shopping, I go all the way to the back of the parking lot. I'm parked all the way in the back. And as soon as I open my car door, I hear a voice go, David Chappelle. Just like that. I didn't even have to look. I knew it was her. And I looked back, and sure enough, there she was, that face. To be honest with you, she probably wasn't even that old. She's probably around my age. But she was a white woman. This bitch looked terrible. I kept my cool. I was nice. I said, hello, miss. And she didn't say anything back. All she said was, I watch your comedy. I said, uh-oh. And then she says, it's true, she goes, it sounds to me like you hate women. I said, well, you know what, miss? It's art. And you're free to interpret this art however you'd like. But I can tell you, as the maker of this art, that I don't believe that I feel that way. And she said, well, I think, and I said, shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Before I kill you and put you in the trunk. Ain't nobody around here. I'm just kidding, I didn't say that. I felt that way, but that's not what I said. I was more clever than that. You know what I said? And this is exactly what I said. I said, miss, before you finish that statement, let me ask you a question. Where'd you see me? Did you buy a ticket to a concert I did? I doubt that. Or maybe you watched one of my specials on Netflix. Or did I follow you to your car and do my act? She said, what? I said, keep it in the comment section, bitch, this is real life. Ta-ta! And then I drove off. You can see it. You ever have this happen? This is how confusing it is. This is the practical application of what I'm talking about. Like a guy be out, this happened to a lot of guys, you be at a club, bar, right? You're kicking with your boys, and a girl walks by, and man, she looks good. She looks good. Not good in that classical way. I mean, you know, I'm talking good, like she got half her ass hanging out her skirt. Her titties are all mashed together, popping out the top of her turtleneck and shit. And you with your buddies, right? You with your buddies, you got a couple drinks in you, and you see a girl, you might try to talk to her, this might not come out right. I don't know what you say, but damn, look at them titties! Right? The girl gets mad at you, wait a minute! Just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a whore. Which is true. Gentlemen, that is true. Just because they dress a certain way doesn't mean they are a certain way. Don't ever forget it. But ladies, you must understand that that is fucking confusing. Just is. Now that would be like me, Dave Chappelle the comedian, walking around the streets in a cop uniform. Somebody might run up on me. Oh, thank God. Officer, help us. Come on, they're over here. Help us. I'm like, oh, just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a police officer. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, all right, lady, fine. You are not a whore. But you are wearing a whore's uniform, I'll tell you that shit right now. Another time, about 6 years ago, there was a lesbian woman that They're trying to sell a story about me to TMZ. Thank goodness TMZ could see right through the sham of that story. This woman claimed that I beat her up in a nightclub because she was a lesbian. That is fucking crazy. Bitch, I didn't even know you was a woman. Thank God TMZ didn't believe that. Because I did beat the shit out of her, I'm not gonna lie. It was her fault, I had no choice. I came in the club minding my own business, and a woman came up to me, she goes, "Oh my God, Dave Chappelle." And I was just being reciprocally nice. "Hey, miss, how are you?" Blah, blah, blah. Benign talk, nothing to it. And all of a sudden, this lesbian fellow stepped between us. "Hey, nigga, that's my girl." I said, yo, my man, back up like that. She said, "I ain't backing up off shit, nigga, that's my girl." I said, "Bro, you're gonna have to give me 3 feet like this." She said, "Stop calling me a man, motherfucker. I'm a woman." I said, "What?" And then I looked deep in this nigga's cheekbones. I said, "Oh my God, you are a woman." It was just too much for me to even wrap my mind around. But I tell you what, I unballed my fist immediately, and I softened my posture so that she would know she's in no danger. I even changed the tone of my voice. I said softly, sweetly, like a pimp might say. "Bitch, I'm about to slap the shit out of you." I shouldn't have done it. Oh, I wish I didn't say that. She dropped that foot back. Boop, she was in a perfect southpaw stance. Her shoulders were angled correctly. Her head movement was good. I said, "Oh no, this bitch boxes for real." She threw a wild hook at me and I saw it coming from yesterday, so I slipped it like this. I had no choice. I had to go to work. I let that jab go. You should have seen me go, nigga. I tenderized them titties like chicken cutlets. I whooped the toxic masculinity out of that bitch. I'm sorry, ladies, I got a fucking Me Too headache. Y'all is killing me right now. It's really fucking tough to watch what's going on. You know, ladies, I said it in my last special, and I got in a lot of trouble for this. I told you were right. But the way you're going about it is not going to work. But I'm biased. I said it. Louis C.K. was a very good friend of mine before he died in that terrible masturbation accident. And it was his room. You read the story. He was masturbating in his own room. That's where he's supposed to masturbate. And then he said, "Hey, everybody, I'm gonna pull my dick out." Nobody ran for the door or nothing like that. They all just kind of hung out like, I wonder if this guy's serious. And he came on his own stomach. There it is. What is the threat? Have any women ever seen a guy that just came on his own stomach? This is the least threatening motherfucker the earth has ever seen. All you see is shame in their face and cum dripping down like pancake butter. He didn't do anything that you can call the police for. I dare to try. Call the police on him. "Hello, police? Yes, I am on the other line with comedian Louis C.K. and I think that he is masturbating while I'm on the phone." You know what the police are gonna say in Atlanta? "Well, what are you guys talking about?" Met, wonderful person, Caitlyn Jenner was voted Woman of the Year. Her first year as a woman. Ain't that something? Beat every bitch in Detroit, she's better than all of you. Never even had a period, ain't that something? Oh, I'd be mad as shit if I was a woman. I'd be mad if I was me. If I was in a BET Awards sitting there and they're like, "And the winner for Nigger of the Year, Eminem, my man."
only thing in our society that bothers me the most is the way that men and women don't get along no more. That's really what's bugging me about it. Men and women just don't get along. Like I hear women say this all the time. I know a lot of you sisters be like, chivalry is dead. Don't you? Don't y'all feel that way? Like men aren't gentlemen anymore? That's right. Chivalry is dead. And women killed it. There's a fundamental difference in the way we're going to see things. We're not going to see eye to eye on this issue. We're just not. Our tests in life are different. A woman's test in life is material. A man's test in life is a woman. Now, by test, I mean that those are the things that we desire. Men have nice cars. Not because they like nice cars, because they know women like nice cars. That's how it goes. Because men are hunters, and the car is the bait. And a woman comes and says, ooh, nice Porsche. Gotcha, bitch. That's how it is. That's true. Come on, man. You go to a woman's house, her house be comfortable as shit. Women love comfortable surroundings, so men get comfortable surroundings. But let me tell you something. If a man could fuck a woman in a cardboard box, he wouldn't buy a house. But that's still not where chivalry got killed. Chivalry got killed by the feminist movement on the magazines that got women going crazy, because women got too much advice about men from other women. And they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's true. I see this shit in the magazines. I don't read them, but I be seeing the cover. I be in the grocery store, fellas, you look at one of the magazines like, what is this? And they say on the cover, 100 Ways to Please Your Man by some lady. Get out of here, man. Come on.
I'm goddamn sick of it. This is the worst time ever to be a celebrity. You're gonna be finished. Everyone's doomed. Michael Jackson has been dead for 10 years, and this nigga has 2 new cases. And if you haven't watched that documentary, then I'm begging you, don't watch it. It's fucking gross. I felt like HBO was sticking baby dicks in my ears for 4 hours straight. Really nasty shit. I don't want to know all these things. Turns out, Michael Jackson allegedly likes a long gander at the anus. As they said, he stares at people's buttholes. That's what they said. That's how gross the documentary was. I'm gonna say something that I'm not allowed to say. But I gotta be real. I don't believe these motherfuckers. I do not believe it. But let me qualify the statement. I am what's known on the streets as a victim blamer. You know what I mean? Somebody come up to me like, Dave, Chris Brown just beat up Rihanna. I'll be like, well, what did she do? Dave, Michael Jackson was molesting children. Well, what were those kids wearing at the time? I don't think he did it. But you know what? Even if he did do it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, it's Michael Jackson. I know more than half the people in this room have been molested in their lives. But it wasn't no goddamn Michael Jackson, was it? This kid got his dick sucked by the king of pop. All we get is awkward Thanksgivings for the rest of our lives. You know how good it must have felt to go to school the next day after that shit? Hey, Billy, how was the weekend? How was my weekend? Michael Jackson sucked my dick. And that was my first sexual experience. If I'm starting here, then sky's the limit. I know it seems harsh, but man, somebody's got to teach these kids. There's no such thing as a free trip to Hawaii. He's gonna want to look at your butthole or something. You know why I don't believe it? You know why I don't believe it? Because if Michael Jackson's out here doing all this molesting, then why not Macaulay Culkin? Macaulay Culkin said in an interview that Michael Jackson never did anything inappropriate with him or even around him. Think about that shit. You know, I'm not a pedophile. But if I was, Macaulay Culkin's the first kid I'm fucking, I'll tell you that right now. I'd be a goddamn hero. Hey, that guy over there fucked a kid from Home Alone. And you know how hard he is to catch. My mind's telling me no. Okay, R. Kelly is different. I mean, you know, if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna put my money on he probably did that shit. I'm pretty sure he did that shit. You know, it's bad, okay, so a couple years ago, I was doing a show in Detroit, and I'm sitting backstage in my dressing room. A friend of mine comes by, this chick, Dream Hampton. Dream tells me, right before I'm going on stage, she goes, Dave, I'm working on a documentary about R. Kelly. Would you like to be in it? And I was like, nah, bitch, I'm cool. I went on stage, I just forgot about the shit. And then 2 years later, the documentary comes out, Surviving R. Kelly. And when it comes out, Dream's promoting the shit, and she keeps bringing me up. She said, I asked Dave Chappelle to be in my documentary, and he said it was too hot for TV. Bitch, I did not say that. It does not even sound like how I talk. Oh, that's too hot for TV? I would never say that shit. But I'm gonna tell you guys why I wasn't in the documentary. There's a very simple reason, and I cannot stress this point enough. The only reason that I didn't do it was because, and it's very important, I don't know this nigga at all. I don't know anything. I don't know anything that they don't tell me about. I don't hang out with this nigga, nothing. So what the fuck do I gotta be in the documentary for? This guy, R. Kelly, got another sex tape out now. Can you believe that shit? This guy makes more sex tapes than he does music. He's like the DJ Khaled of sex tapes. Another one. Like, damn, nigga. It's a lot of tapes. The new one's so bad that they didn't even show it. I've never seen anything like this. The prosecutor in Chicago came out in a press conference and read to the media a transcript of a sex tape. Have you ever heard of such thing? This nigga read the sex tape. And it was so bad that R. Kelly sounded guilty in the transcripts. It's fucking amazing. 16 times the girl's age was mentioned. Isn't that crazy? This motherfucker is an idiot. He was fucking her like, yeah, this is the best 14-year-old pussy I've ever had in my life. And she was like, you like this 14-year-old pussy? He's like, oh yeah, I love this 14. I'm like, man, you need to shut the fuck up. You gotta give your lawyer something to work with. You're supposed to be on the tape like, this is the best 36-year-old pussy I've ever had in my life. And then your lawyer can be like, Your Honor, clearly my client thought that this woman was 36, as he mentioned some 16 times in the tape. They gonna know you lying though, you know what I mean? Everybody knows no such thing as good 36-year-old pussy. Doesn't matter what I say. And if you at home watching this shit on Netflix, remember, bitch, you clicked on my face. Tough time for the blacks. These are not good times for the blacks. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? Police are killing us again. It's a very unfortunate set of circumstances because we were doing very well. You know, America has a racial hot seat. I think we can all agree that that's the truth. And we can also agree that that hot seat is traditionally occupied by African Americans in general, African American men in particular. Although I can see that in recent years, that seat has been occupied by Mexicans, and I dare say Arabs. And we, the black Americans, would like to thank you both for your sacrifice and your struggle. We needed a break. We needed a goddamn break. We all go through something, but at least I can leave my backpack someplace. If you Arab and forget the backpack, you got about 20 minutes before they send that robot to blow your shit up. Fuhad. Now ISIS is #1 on the terrorist charts. And ISIS is fucking scary. Because if ISIS catches you, they're going to cut your head off. That's what they do. I've seen them do it on YouTube. It was fucking awful. He looked right in the camera and say, "Obama, I am back." I saw that shit. I said, oh my God. Don't like. How is this guy cutting people's heads off on YouTube? I can't even post a dick pic, and this motherfucker is decapitating people. I'm gonna have to change my settings. You know, everyone has it hard, but I think harder than black people and harder than Arabs and harder than Mexicans, you know who has it the worst? Fat black people. It's hard for white people to understand, but that's what I'm saying is very true. Fat black people have a really rough road because all manner of things kill white people, but you know what kills more black people than anything, more than police and terrorism? Salt, nigga, regular. Here, white people are getting Ebola cures and shit, and meanwhile, I'm dying from fucking the flavoring. Look, honestly, I'll stop talking about it. Let me say this, though. Let me just say this. Can we all just say that we've seen it coming? Were you surprised? It's like when that guy threw that banana at me. Do you think I was surprised? Hell no. I've been in show business 30 years. I was expecting this banana. I knew one of these nights, it's like somebody gonna throw a banana at me one of these nights, niggas. Because that's how it starts, with the name calling. Like that Paula Deen. Remember Paula Deen got fired from the Food Network? If you know anything about show business, it is really hard to get fired from the fucking Food Network. And they dropped that bitch like a hot potato. All because she called somebody an N-word 30 years before she had a show. I don't know who she said it to, but whoever it was just looking at her like, I'm gonna get you for this bitch. That shit came back 30 years later like a Bill Cosby rape and sunk a battleship. And every black person was mad, but we weren't like that mad. I was just like, well, how's this bitch gonna call me a nigga when she taught me how to fry chicken? That's not fair. I think Donald Sterling shit was more serious. Remember Donald Sterling? He used to own the Clippers, and then he got caught on a secretly recorded tape saying some very unsavory things about African Americans. And there's a lesson in that for all of us. The lesson is, if you are old and white and racist in this great country, whatever you do, don't tell your black girlfriend about that shit, because that's who made the tape. She recorded all that shit, and the tape was terrible. He was like, stop bringing these black guys to my games. First, we're all confused, like, well, how the fuck are you gonna have a game without us? But it turned out that the black guy he was speaking of was none other than Magic Johnson, the billionaire. Unbelievable. Never even mentioned the fact that he had AIDS, which is, this guy must be really racist if AIDS is the footnote. Well, you gotta be careful, baby. He got the old Ebola. You can say what you want about that girl, but I'm gonna tell you right now, she is a goddamned hero. Because you might have thought these things were happening before, but now you can see it all in front of you without a shadow of a doubt. That shit actually went down. She sucked that old guy's dick. She really took one for the team on that one. That's really gross. This dick is like 80 years old. It's like tasting history. Like 5 wars on it, civil rights movement, Great Depression. This guy's been fucking from 40 years before Bill Cosby's first rape. This is a very old man. It's a very old penis. But all that shit is still, it's just name calling. Like, name calling does not break the modern black man. That's not gonna do the trick. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, if I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken, Ku Klux Klan hood on top of their head, what do you think I'm gonna do in this day and age? Run out Kentucky Fried Chicken? Not if I'm hungry. I'll go straight to the front. Hey man, let me get a 2-piece. I don't give a fuck what he says. You want a biscuit with that, nigger? I thought it came with a biscuit. What's all this attitude? I want a 2-piece. Chop, chop. You know what it is. But I'm not going to be mad. Why would I be mad? He's the one that's got to work at Kentucky Fried Chicken, not me. Well, how about this? What if I lived in Austin and I had a white girlfriend? It's possible in Austin. As a matter of fact, some people say it's necessary, but that's not the point. And me and my white girlfriend at home one night, and we're just doing what lovers do. Maybe she's butt naked and she's down on one knee, giving me a hand job. I love a good hand job. And she's really jerking me off. You know, getting her obliques nice and tight. I got a huge dick, so she's like, And I'm like, wow, this really feels wonderful. I think I'm gonna come. Nigger. I know, that's a tough one. But what do you think I'm gonna do? Hey! That's no time for integrity, ladies and gentlemen. I'm busting that nut in her face. I'll sort through the ethics later. But I'm what they call a man of his word. If I say I'm coming, I'm coming. I don't give a fuck what happens. God forbid somebody could shoot me. If I say I'm coming, it's still that. Doesn't mean I like getting shot. Boy. Yeah, tough time for the blacks. I'm not gonna say nothing about the police. I'll leave that for Chris Rock. Well, I have some very bad news for the people in the front rows. I heard that some of you paid as much as $800 for your tickets. Sadly, I did this same show a couple weeks ago in Atlanta for $60 a head. Can you imagine? Nigga, you could have flown to Atlanta, got a hotel, had some dinner, and came back, and you still have a little money left over, niggas. Paid way too much just to see me in this gay-ass neighborhood. All right, let me roll up my sleeves and tell these pussy jokes. Will told me to say there hasn't been this many pussy references in this room since Cats was here. Boy, I gotta tell you, man, I've been doing this set all week, and boy, I've been telling these jokes, and sometimes niggas look like they're in actual pain over the jokes. None of it's that bad to me, but I understand why it could hurt some people's feelings. So tonight, I'm gonna give you an opportunity that I rarely give anybody. I'm gonna let you say whatever it is you need to say to my face, or ask me whatever it is you wanna know. But there are no dumb questions allowed. If you ask a stupid question, you'll be asked to leave. Nah, I'm just kidding, go ahead. Everyone relax, come on. Oh yes, sir, in the front.
2 questions. How often do you write? And can I have a cigarette?
All right, first, you may have a cigarette, but remember, this is not jail, motherfucker. This lady right here.
I have a question. Do you remember this scene?
Oh, I do remember that. Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. That's a terrible question. This gentleman in the front with the salmon-colored shirt on.
I was wondering if you had any advice for young comedians that you generally give, and...
Are you thinking of doing comedy?
I've never done it before, but watching you has made me want to try it.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
It's a compliment. It's.
I mean, niggas don't say I've never done brain surgery, but it looked a lot easier than I thought. I'm teasing. All right, here'd be my advice. Okay, I don't know how comedians start nowadays, right? But what I would suggest is just start. And once you start, you can't really stop, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, no matter what people say. You know what I mean? Because comedy is weird like that. You know why I hate watching other comedians do comedy? Not because I hate other comedians, but because I love comedy so much. It's like watching somebody else fuck your girl. And I say, fuck her better than that. Yes, you on the aisle up there, the lady with the long... Yes, you, standing up, I see you. My favorite book of all time, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass. That guy with the baseball hat.
Marry, fuck, kill, Michelle, Rihanna, Oprah.
Wait, who's Michelle? Oh, Obama. Well, sir, you're putting me in quite the pickle. I can't say I'll fuck Michelle Obama. That's insane. Well, I guess I mean, because I wouldn't kill any of those women, but I'd fuck all 3 of them. The gentleman in the blue Oxford standing up.
Tell us the story with Charlie Murphy.
Tell a story about Charlie Murphy?
Or your favorite.
Boy, there's so many good Charlie Murphys. You know, the thing with Charlie Murphy is he used to just make us laugh all the time. And I used to ask him about all the old Hollywood shit I was curious about. Like when they used to accuse Michael Jackson, I remember asking once, I go, Charlie, do you think Michael Jackson actually did those things? And he said, let me ask you a question, Dave. He said, say it is illegal to fuck women. How long are you staying out of jail? So God bless Charlie Murphy, wherever you are. Charlie, I love you.
Who do you think is going to win the 2020 election?
All right, I'm going to put a pin in this, but I'll tell you right now, fella, I don't know, but I think Trump has a better shot than a lot of people would like to think. I'm just saying, it all depends on how the left talks. The way we're talking is not going to win the fucking ball game. Donald Trump's over there on the right, grabbing handfuls of pussy. Joe Biden can't even smell hair over here. Fuck this side. All right, man, go ahead.
Thank you so much for this show. And
How old are you?
25.
25? Yeah. Boy, don't let R. Kelly see you. He's gonna pee on you by accident. Oh, my bad. I thought she was 15. Yuck. I'm totally joking. I'm sorry.
My question is there anything you've learned from another comedian that you feel like will stay with you for life?
I tell you what, miss, that's a good question. Yes, is the short answer. A longer version of it is this. I was raised by comedians. I started doing stand-up when I was 14. The other day I went to a comedian's funeral and I realized as we was putting this motherfucker in the ground that these people are at least as influential to me as my family. I rock with these niggas till the wheel falls off. We fight and we fuss and we are jealous of each other and we get mad at each other, but my life wouldn't have been what it was without each and every one of them, and I consider them my family. That's the answer. Still hadn't figured out exactly how to say what I wanted to say, but I was doing pretty good, and I was doing some Me Too jokes, and a woman stood up from the audience and she was crying. Clearly, it was a white woman. She says to me, you can't say that. It's 200 seat room, it's a very small room. I'm like, what the fuck are you, like, miss, are you okay? What are you doing? She says, you can't say that. I said, yes, I can, it's my show. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. The crowd's like, ooh, like this. And then she gets up from the table and she starts making a big like show of just pushing through the aisles and all this stuff. And there's like a curtain right before the front door. And she gets to the curtain and she's crying. It's fucking crazy. She says, I'm sorry I was raped. It's a fucking comedy club. It's like loud farting getting out of an elevator. Nothing funny can happen in here. Now I'm trapped in a room with this woman's fucking stink. And I say, miss, it is not your fault that you were raped, but it's not mine either. Ta-ta, bitch, like this. She storms out. Now the room is very uncomfortable, but I managed to get the crowd back, but I'm like, a little traumatized. Same show, there's a trans woman sitting in the audience. This is a true story. This was like a few weeks ago. I did 6 shows that weekend. This trans woman came to 4 of them. Calls herself Daphne. Man, this chick Daphne was in there cracking the fuck up at everything I said about everybody. It was amazing. She was laughing, and it was fun to watch her laugh. You could tell she was letting go with something that was heavy, and she'd throw her head back, and she'd smile with all her teeth. She was having a great time. And the more fun she had, I felt bad, because I knew I had some trans jokes to unload. And I thought to myself, maybe I shouldn't say these jokes, because I don't want to, fuck her evening up. She's having so much fun. But then I thought to myself, well, if I can't say it in front of her, should I say this shit at all? So I let her rip. And to my surprise, Daphne laughed harder at the trans jokes than anybody in the room. In fact, everybody in the room would look at her to make sure it was okay. And I got off stage, I was in the dressing room, I was like, man, this is a fucking weird show. I'm sitting in the dressing room by myself just trying to figure out, what the fuck just happened out there? Why is it that this one woman can't take any of these jokes and Daphne can take all of these jokes? So weird. And then I realized, Daphne used to be a man. So now I go out of the dressing room and you can see all the staff was there cleaning the club up. The audience had gone. And sitting at the bar by herself was Daphne. And she's like, hey, Dave, come join me for a drink. And I don't want her to think that I'm transphobic or nothing, so I'm like, fuck, I guess I could have at least a drink. And we get some tequila and we're sitting there. And she was fucking cool. Turns out that Daphne, she wants to be a comedian. She was asking me for advice, and I told her advice and all that shit. And then she says to me, she says, boy, you sure do get a bad rap for your trans jokes. I said, Daphne, thank you, but you don't have to say that. I hope I didn't offend you. She goes, no. She said, in fact, I read about you in the New York Times. I said, you did? She said, yeah. She said, I thought it was interesting that they blamed you for R. Kelly. They said you normalized him for telling jokes about him. I go, yeah, they said that. She goes, I wonder why they never said that you normalized transgenders by telling jokes about us. And I'd never thought about that. It never occurred to me. And we started making out. And then, like, I reached up just to see what it felt like. I was like, what? And it felt like pussy, didn't it? It was just like, go ahead, ask me a question.
What the fuck you gonna do if Trump get reelected?
What am I gonna do if Trump gets reelected? Probably get a significant tax break. Hey, you wanna know why I don't even talk about Trump in my show? Because that motherfucker is not the hokey pokey. He is not what it's all about. There's millions of people that put him in power, and the ideas that he puts forth are not his own. He's singing poor white people's greatest hits. So why the fuck would I worry about him and not the other millions? Really, you know who I'm gonna vote for next time if things keep going the way it's going is that gay dude. No, Mike Pence. It's a safe place where I could tell some jokes. And I find out that this comedian I know, Chris Tucker, who's in all those Rush Hour movies, I find out that Chris is in San Francisco too at some charity event. So I call him, I'm like, yo, I just saw you at some charity event. I said, I'm doing a show at the Punchline, why don't you come by the club after your event? And he's like, cool, Dave, I thought you was dead, nigga, I'll come by. He says, is it okay if I bring some friends? Because, you know, I'm with a lot of people. I go, man, you Chris Tucker. You can bring whoever the fuck you want. And then I show up to the club late that night. I walk into the dressing room, and sitting in the dressing room is Gavin Newsom, who at the time was the mayor of San Francisco, but now he's the governor of California. And sitting next to him was Kamala Harris, who at the time was the DA of San Francisco. Now she's the senator from California that's front running on the Democratic ticket. And sitting next to her was Al Gore. It's fucking weird. And sitting next to Al Gore was the guys from Google, Sergey, and I don't know how to say these. All right. And it was Chris Tucker and Ben Jealous, who at the time was the president of the NAACP, who was all just at this big charity dinner, and Paul Mooney was drinking scotch. And we all was just in there. And, you know, at first I was a little uncomfortable when we started talking, and we all got along really well. At some point, Kamala Harris she says to me, she goes, you know, a friend of mine is announcing his candidacy for president tomorrow. I went to college with him. I'm like, what? I go, Barack Obama? She goes, you've heard of him? I'm like, yo, I just read about this dude. And she goes, yo, yeah, blah, 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 we talking. She goes, you know what? She says, let's call him on the phone. I said, what the fuck? And she picks the phone up and she dials and she's listening like this. And she goes, this is voicemail. And she gives me the phone, she goes, leave him a message. You know, I didn't know what to say. I just said what you say to any black dude that's running for president. You know, stay low, running a zigzag pattern, this kind of shit. And then the last thing I say is, you know what? I said, sir, well, I really do believe you can do this. Like, man, I'm wishing you luck. Now, next day I wake up and go for coffee at a place called the Embarcadero. It's like an eatery by the sea in San Francisco. And I'm walking to the coffee shop and there's a police line and I can't cross the tape. But then I figure, fuck it, I'm Dave Chappelle, so I go into the thing like this. And the police yoke me. These motherfuckers like tackle me immediately. And I see over the police's shoulder Gavin Newsom. I couldn't remember his name, but I remember the night before I had kept teasing him and saying he looked like Christian Bale, the guy from the Batman movies. So I see him and I can't remember the name, so I'm just like, Batman, help! And he stops, he's like, Dave? And then the police see that the mayor knows me, so they all like, oh, sorry about that. And he's like, hey, back up everybody. And he just picks me up. He's like, I'm really sorry about that. I'm like, I'm fine, don't worry about it. And he's like, listen, I'm here with Prince. Would you like to meet him? I'm like, I know Prince, that's my nigga. And we go around the corner and it was Prince Charles, the Prince of England. I didn't know the protocol of meeting royalty. You're not supposed to touch him. I dapped him up like a nigga. My nigga. Just hugging him and shit like this, dapping him up. Like this. And that nigga was cool too. I was like, that's really fucking weird. And then I was just out there in the upside down, not having no TV show, trying to figure life out. And the election was going on in the background. And this guy, Barack Obama, was picking up steam. This motherfucker was killing it. And I had a chance to go to the last debate on the Democratic ticket, and I went. It's me and Chris Tucker sitting in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's the last three candidates. It was Barack Obama, John Edwards, and Hillary Clinton. Now, Obama's a lot taller than Edwards and Clinton, and he had the center podium. And at one point, they're all on stage, and they start fussing, and Obama goes, look, none of us are perfect, like this. And his hands was like this, and there was light shining behind his head, and the other two candidates was looking up at the nigga, and I was sitting in the audience like, this nigga looks like Jesus. And I realized in that moment that I was looking at the next president of the United States. I was certain of it. I couldn't explain it, but I knew what I was seeing. And I got really excited. And I'm not that kind of guy. I said, I gotta meet this motherfucker. So I stayed. They were all on stage doing interviews, and I just waited. I was waiting and waiting, and then John Edwards was done with his interviews first, because everybody knew he wasn't going to win. And I see John Edwards, and I said, hey, Senator Edwards, I just want to say hi. And that motherfucker looked at me like, I'm like, fuck you, nigga, you going to lose anyway. And then he left, and then Hillary Clinton just walked by me in one of them Steve Harvey suits. But Obama was taking forever. Everybody wanted to talk to him. When I knew the media saw exactly what I saw, there was no question about it. That was the guy. I waited and I waited, and finally, must have been over an hour and a half, he finishes his last interview. He's like, well, thank you very much. Good talking to you. And he turns around and we make eye contact. He sees me. And when he sees me, he looks over, he goes, Dave Chappelle. And Obama did me the same way I did Prince Charles. He dapped me up, and he like bro hugged me, and he pulled me in, and I'll never forget this. He said in my ear, I got your message. Thank you very much, New York. I know it's fucked up, but I tell you the truth. You know, everything's funny. Everything's funny till it happens to you. 3 months, a mere 3 months after that terrible attack that Chris Rock endured, I was on stage at the Hollywood Bowl, and a lunatic jumped out of the crowd and attacked me. Now, I gotta tell you, if it happens to you, you don't even know what the fuck is happening. It was like slow motion. I just looked over. I don't know this nigga. And I just looked and said, oh my God, I'm being attacked. And this motherfucker was ragged. He jumped at me. He was like, I'm old, but I'm fast. I caught this motherfucker's head with my hand and pulled his hoodie over his eyes. I can still feel his head in my hand. It was spongy. He had been growing dreadlocks. Not the beautiful dreads that Rastafarians grow. These were accidental LA homeless dreads. This shit had leaves and sticks and bottle caps and shit in it. Some kind of grease. I was like, ugh, like this. And then I fell down. And he knocked me all the way on the ground. And I was like, man, this is a bad situation. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna die or what's gonna happen. But in that moment of vulnerability, you know what occurred to me that had never occurred to me before in my life? In that moment, it occurred to me that bodyguards should not wear dress shoes to work. Travis! This nigga Travis came out slipping and sliding on some kind of beautiful loafer and fell flat on his back. I said, oh my God. Now both of us are down. I gotta handle this shit myself. So I popped right back, boom. And then the kid that knocked me down, he popped out, boom. And we looked at each other and realized at the same time, I was bigger than him. And that motherfucker took off running. And I started to chase him and I said, fuck him. I picked the microphone up. I said, I'm gonna finish this show now. That's right. For 3 months before that, I'd been making fun of Chris Rock. And people would ask me all the time. They'd say, Dave, what would you do if you were Chris Rock and Will Smith slapped you in the face? And to this day, the answer is the same. Well, I don't know what I would have done. I've never been in a situation that extreme. But I do know now what Will Smith would not have done. And that is enjoy the rest of his evening. Man, listen. We gave that kid a good while. We was whooping his ass. Not we, I mean, I was on stage trying to think of a joke to tell, but they was beating this nigga up right behind me. Everybody could see it. Everybody could see it. And I'm sitting up there trying to think of what to say. And I'm tongue-tied. Me, of all people, can't think of anything to say. Look at my karma. Just that moment. Of all the people in the world, Chris Rock walks from backstage, walks up to me in front of 20,000 people, grabs the mic out of my hands and looks at the crowd and goes, was that Will Smith? Man, motherfuckers fell out of their chairs laughing. I was standing there looking stupid. I was fucking furious because I'm thinking in my mind, nigga, this is my attack. You got attacked 3 months ago. Now you have jokes. So I snatched the mic back from Chris and tried to get one off, but my shit did not go good at all. I didn't know what to say. I was just like, it was a trans man. And the crowd was like, boo. It's LA, we like trans people, boo. was slapping at the Oscars. That wasn't even the gangster part. The gangster part was sat down and enjoyed the rest of the show. That was a tough one. I haven't seen a lot of wild shit in my life. Slap Chris. Now, I don't know whose fault that was. I don't know what was going on. Chris is my man, but you know what I mean? You don't have no easy delivery. I saw that shit. Can't wait to see it. He was laughing first. That was a tough one. Everyone asks me what I think. I don't know what I think. They say, Dave, who do you think was right? Well, I mean, I don't know who was right or who was wrong. What I do know is, it was Bill's dream that night. Everybody on the internet was like, if you would never slap Dave Chappelle like that, if you slap Dave Chappelle some shit like that, you know what I think when I see shit like that? Shut the fuck up, you don't get me slapped. He look like he slapped anybody. The fuck was that movie star slapping? That slap was wild. The war in Ukraine stopped for 3 minutes when you our ancestors put pepper and gilbert. I don't think I've seen anything like it. He had an abusive father, he survived that, found rap music, became the first rap artist to ever win a Grammy, and then seamlessly made the transition from rapping to acting with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just a little something to break through the neck, all those hardcore chains that got nigga. What a fly fucking nigga this was. And then he stopped rapping. And one movie at a time became the biggest movie star this world's ever seen. And you guys say who's right or who's wrong? Who the fuck knows? I can't judge Will Smith or Chris Rock because I see myself in both of those men. I am a lunatic. I am the man that has had enough and will slap the shit out of the next motherfucker that says something that upsets me.
The crazy thing is I'm more nervous about doing stand-up than I am about bungee jumping out of a helicopter over the Grand Canyon. When you do music, you forget your lyrics, the audience knows them. And they catch up and they pick up, they go with it. With your stand-up, if you stutter, you stumble, if there's one moment where your heart jumps, they see it. To be able to stand on a stage with a microphone, no music, no backup dancers, no special effects, no second chances, just you, the microphone, and the crowd, to me is the hardest thing in entertainment.
This guy is actually his first time doing stand-up. I feel like he might have a feature in it. Make some noise for what's his face. Hey, welcome!
is on my bucket list because I've always been terrified of it.
I remember this one. It's straight to Max like this. Said, what's that? Richard Pryor running down the street.
There's nothing in entertainment that is more terrifying to me than standing up in front of an audience with just a microphone, with the anticipation that you will make people laugh. Yet when you connect to people, there's nothing like that.
So I'm headed over to see the master. That's the first step of anything, anytime you want to do something new. And there's only one master that I would ever want to learn from in terms of stand-up. That's going to be a segue, right? That'll be like a segue. All right, so shoot, this is how the anticipation builds. All right, so you got it over my shoulder, right? Yeah. Maybe drop into slow-mo, maybe some black and white, as we build the anticipation for meeting the master. I'm like a young grasshopper, and I'm ready to meet the master. Yeah! Looks good, man. What's up, man? What's up, brother? You know. 12 weeks from now, Dave was like, cool, next week.
You call your brother, I come running, man. You know what it is, man. I appreciate that.
Love, man. Appreciate you, man. So I just wanted to sit with you and get some pointers and some ideas. I've never done stand-up. Like, I've never used my life to create material to try to make people laugh.
Oh, okay, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll run down a checklist.
Yep.
All right, and I don't know who's directing it, but you might want to put these things on the lower third.
Ooh, on the lower third?
Yeah.
Put it right around here. Oh, man.
Somewhere, okay.
See, that's why you come to a master right there.
Yeah, you know, I know the lingo. The first thing I tell you is confidence is key. The reason you should be confident is primarily because you're Will Smith. Like it's not going to go bad. No. Because I've been watching you for years. You're actually a funny dude. I've spoken to you before. You're a great conversationalist. And what else do you really need? All you need to do is pick the right to talk about.
Yeah.
So then number 2, pick the right to talk about. And the best advice I got ever doing comedy was from a comedian that was not particularly good, but the advice was very important to me. He said, you are one of these comedians that think you have to be funny all the time. And you don't. But you do have to be interesting all the time.
That's deep.
It works, man.
That.
Yeah,
you have to be interesting all the time.
So you just got to look at it like you're conducting a conversation with no rebuttal.
Got it.
They're talking back with their laughter, or in many cases, in my case, their disapproval. It's definite. But especially someone of your stature, if they can feel you, they'll never forget you. They'll be like, okay, this is the greatest that's ever happened. And you can tell them about anything. The more embarrassing it is, the more relatable you are, because because of the things you're perfect.
It's part of my bucket list. Things I've always wanted to do, things I've been afraid of. So I'm jumping out of a helicopter. I'm doing stand-up.
Kathy Griffin.
And it's never been more dangerous.
Hello, Q-Tip.
Yo! What's up, bro? Yeah.
It's Will.
I got your shades on.
What's up, man?
Shit, man, I ain't got no CeeLo dice though.
I know, and listen, I was like, if that's tip, you got, trust me, we in Vegas, we gonna easily get 3 dice.
There you go.
The CeeLo cake.
Them dice.
Don't let the smoke taste fool you.
Listen, they just
take all your money.
They just let the dice do. They do what I want them to do. They do what I want them to do.
Hold up, boom, get the right angle, bam, bam, ooh, damn, jam, that's hot. So yeah, we just back from Vegas. So it was good, it was a good trip, I'm feeling very excited. All right, can I be honest with y'all? I'm just testing the camera. This is my first, it's a new camera, so I really don't have nothing to say. I'm just testing the camera.
The stand-up is about exploring my life, having the opportunity to think about my life and think about my experiences in a way to craft them into jokes is a beautiful self-exploration. With me being the source of the material, I just need help mining my life and mining my experiences to be able to structure them into a routine. I got a sense of the type of stand-up I'll do. I think I'm a straight storyteller. It's not jokes for me as much as it's stories.
As a fan, I kind of want him to talk about stuff that I want to know. You know, like how he feels about his family's success and how his family is growing and how they're all superstars. Talk about some close things that people really haven't heard about on stage. So it's going to be really intimate. It's going to be a door opening into Will's life.
It's my morning walk. I usually take a morning walk out at the house. Jada turned the whole damn house into a set. See that? Look at all that. What is that doing? What is she shooting on the roof? You don't see that? That's my house. I have lost control of my house.
Tell us the real reason, the deeper reason for you as to why you are doing this.
You've known me for a really long time. You've known me for more than half of my life.
Absolutely.
You know how much fear I function under.
Absolutely.
The construction of the character of Will Smith was in order to not be scared. On the show, the way that I talk to women, the fun that I would have as a character talking to women was because of how freaking terrified I was my whole life to talk to women. What I've discovered is as I confront every little fear, it's how I build freedom. Every time I confront a fear, I feel more free.
What's up?
In my mind, there's a huge potential emotional tragedy in people going, I'm getting nervous.
Are you?
We're getting close. Yeah, I'm actually getting nervous. I'm going to learn something about myself. One of the things I'm already clear about is I care too much what people think about me. Like there's something I have to earn from people, like addicted to adoration. Like I thought I had broken that, but as I can see, I still struggle with a little bit of a need for approval. The nerves around being judged are huge for me. It's been a big part of the difficulty in experiencing the joy that I want to experience in this life. And even doing the stand-up, if it sucks, it sucks, but I'm not going to allow the fear of the disapproval of others to keep me from living the way I want.
The good news is, fear is good for comedy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's the best.
I need that.
One of the best shows I ever seen, a guy that went on was terrified.
Love it.
Yeah, no, that's
so
good.
I'm lined up for that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely lined up for that.
The other thing is you gotta remember, you're a big star.
Yep.
If you look anybody directly in the eyes, they might look away.
Wow.
That's the power of celebrity. And you're a good dude. You don't have to put on any airs. You just whatever. You know, I mean, being a good dude in comedy, that's rare. Comics are ass to the nicotine. You know the hardest part for acting with me? Not looking in the camera.
Not looking
I can't even do the basics.
Do you have any comments about Kanye West running for president? Kanye West running for president.
I've heard nothing about this man.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't heard anything about this.
Okay.
Man.
All right.
Well, hopefully we'll get the right celebrity in office.
Yes. Will Smith or you run for president?
You would vote for me if I ran?
I would.
All right,
yes.
I'm gonna consider it. I'm gonna take that under advisement.
Please.
And I'll be the vice president. That way, nothing bad will happen to Will.
Oh my God, that is wonderful.
Rock in a hard place.
I love you guys.
We have to make a movie together.
That will be hilarious.
Hey man, what's my last minute pep talk?
You said something to me in Vegas that I've been thinking about since you said it, about confronting fear, like that's what your life's about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a great way to live. But the thing that is so admirable about it is, even myself, I rarely step out of my comfort zone. You know who makes me nervous when they're in the audience? Who? Eddie Murphy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get starstruck, man. Something about when I see him in the audience,
really,
it makes me feel bad about myself. Because I know he's better than me. Even though he don't do it anymore, I'm like, you're naturally more gifted.
Eddie's hilarious, man. The Godfather.
Yeah, he's Wild Dude.
Growing up with Eddie Murphy, I was from the Eddie Murphy generation, and it was just a superpower. It was magic to be able to stand on stage and make people feel like that.
Even though it's 1982, it's still a risky business to be the first black president. You have to give speeches like this. My fellow Americans!
Eddie Murphy was the singular image of what a young black man could become. And he didn't compromise his blackness. It's like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it like that.
Feel that energy? Feels good in here, doesn't it? Well, don't forget, herpes is in the room.
I've definitely used fear to overcome my internal and personal weaknesses. How can I use the negative emotion that I'm experiencing and direct it toward positive outcomes?
I want to bring another guy to the stage. This guy is actually his first time doing stand-up, but I don't know, something about his guy. I feel like he might have a future in it. And every once in a while, as the host, you got to go with your gut. So please give this next gentleman a warm round of applause. Make some noise for what's his face.
I know y'all like, what the hell is Will doing up there? Let me explain. It's my 50th birthday next week. Yep. And I've decided I'm going to do every damn thing I've ever wanted to do in my life. I'm going to meet everybody I want to meet and go everywhere I want to go. So this is one of the first things on my bucket list to do stand-up. Next week, I'm bungee jumping out of a helicopter over the Grand Canyon on my actual birthday. Third episode, I'm gonna have sex with Kathy Griffin. Dave made me say that. It's really a new time in my life. My kids all grown, my family, they all doing their thing. And I've kind of lost control of my house. Like Jada, she's shooting her show, the Red Table Talks. Have y'all seen that? Red Table Talk. Oh yeah, you saw it, yeah. No, you can enjoy it because she's not telling all your business. Yeah, Jada giving it up on Red Table Talk, boy. Sorry, babe. Because my wife Jada's here. She's right here. I wasn't expecting Jaden to be here. I wasn't expecting to have to say it in front of you.
Well, you went to the script.
Oh man. Even Jaden, like Jaden, that's my dog. Jaden was my one family member I thought I was gonna have. He got this new joint, Icon. I don't know if y'all heard what you call an Icon living, starting record label Misfits. Yo, that joint is crazy. He recorded it in my house, put it out, and never said to me. I found out on Spotify. And I'm looking at my playlist, like, new music from Jaden Smith. Like, who the is Jaden Smith? You know, and I get to the house. I'm like, yo, Jaden, dude, that Icon joint is fire. He's talking about, shh, mommy's shooting in the other room. So I'm like, all right, hey, Jaden, man, that joint is hot. Yo, hey, you think I could jump on that remix? He talking about, I was like, he just looked at me like I'm the second best rapper in my house. So I waited for him to go to sleep. I went in the studio, I jumped on the remix anyway. Boy, you know why you was an icon living? You was born from an icon living. While he was still asleep, I just got all my Grammys and put them all over the house. He came down for breakfast in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee out my summertime Grammy. I'm petty. Like, I'm not even going to front. I'm petty. I come from a long line of petty Smiths. My father was petty. I remember when Independence Day came out, and it was like, he had broke all the records and all of that, and global, biggest movie, everything. And my phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning. He like, hey! I'm like, yo, Dad, what's up? Hey, man, you see these numbers? I said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, Dad. I ain't seen it. Hey, remember I told you there ain't no such thing as luck. Remember I told you that? I'm like, yeah, Dad, man, I remember. Remember I told you there ain't no such thing as luck, only what you make. Remember I told you that? Dad, I remember. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Remember I told you there ain't no such thing as luck. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Remember I told you that? I'm like, yeah, Dad. He said, that's bull. You the luckiest mother I ever met in my life. I'm Will Smith. Thank you very much.
What I've discovered is if you are comfortable, you're not growing, and that's real. As I confront every little fear, it's how I build freedom. Every time I confront a fear, I feel more free. It's what Buddha called sublime detachment. Life is so much fun when you don't give a
You know, I'm frankly surprised that many of you, I didn't prepare a speech. And that's not because I didn't care. In fact, it's because I cared so much. If you could imagine sitting down and trying to write something about someone that you feel so much about, the way I feel about John, it's very difficult. I won this prize 2 years ago, and I'm imagining, John, that this is a surreal experience. I imagine you probably didn't even give a till last night. And then last night, you saw all your friends gathering, you saw everyone dressed nice, and you realized you were still alive to see this. It's like getting a preview to your funeral. And I want to work context is everything. And me and John have a very unlikely friendship. The context of that friendship happened in a comedy club in New York City. John being 10 years my senior, I was 17. The first time I saw Jon Stewart, right before he walked in the door, I heard two waitresses at the club talking about how handsome he was. And then they go, oh my God, there he goes. And I looked over and I said, he's all right.
So what happened was at night, I would go to the Comedy Cellar, and they'd put me on as the last guy every night.
There's 6 billion people in the world. You can't make 6 billion anything without some of them being very up. Open up a bag of potato chips. What are there, 40 in there? At least 5 of them are burnt and bent over.
It's the slot that they give someone that for some reason they think, let's just see what happens to this guy.
The thing I remember, being 17 in an adult world, trying to make something of myself, is how kind he was. People like John made me feel safer. He was a friendly guy. Now, the early part of any comedian's career is embarrassing in hindsight because so many of us imitate our influences or try on different personalities to see what works. But John he's been the same since the very first time I met him. Nice and present. In 1999, he got The Daily Show. That show languished for 3 years before he got it. No disrespect to Craig Kilburn, but you know what I mean? Yuck. It was like the body of the show was there, but when John got the show, it had a soul. It made people take notice. And in 2002, suddenly, somehow, he became the most popular news show on television. Actually, I know how. He had a good lead-in, Chappelle Show. In that context, it was post 9/11. My career was the first time that I can really remember that there was a stove too hot to touch. No comedian was allowed to talk about the war or Janet Jackson's titty coming out the Super Bowl. You remember that? You remember that memo that went around? As we've all learned in our lives, wartime is crazy in America. They do what Noam Chomsky called manufactured consent, and the news was off the chain. And John was the only voice that helped people decipher that madness. It was a really remarkable thing to watch.
We told you that it wasn't going to go so well. Yes, we called it shock and awe, but we meant that in the way of you'll be shocked at how it doesn't go so well. And that will make you say, oh.
He's been a great friend to me. I'm not here because I love Jon Stewart. I'm here because he loves me. Because there's never been a time that I called on him and asked him for his help that he wasn't the first responder. When it was half-baked and I was doing my first movie and I needed a celebrity lift, John was the first one to say, I'll do it. I don't even know if he smoked weed. He seemed like a coke guy. The city close to where I live, Dayton, Ohio, had a terrible mass shooting. 9 people were killed, and I called my friends, and they all pulled up. But John, you were the first one that said, I'll be there. And just days after that massacre, we took that neighborhood and made a much better memory for them. They saw love and support from voices that they trust. When we were on Comedy Central, I picked the brand of irreverence. I said, I'll touch everything they say I can't touch. But John's voice became one that was synonymous with trust. And he left right before the Trump administration, the most cynical time in American politics. The time when nobody trusts our media, where a guy like Donald Trump can just say fake news and say, I just believe this orange head guy. And we miss you very much. During the pandemic, when my town was dying, and I needed to help raise money to get the economy of the town straight, John was the first responder. He was terrified of COVID, and he got on a plane anyway after his friends had died, and he lost loved ones. He had the courage to get on a plane. He came out and met me, and we did shows that whole weekend. And every comic who came out there had been off for at least 100 nights. They were all nervous, and they were all scared, except for John. John did 25 minutes off the rip because he had something to say, because he actually means what he says, because he actually thinks about what he says. A lot of comics would take this John for granted. The younger comics, they do what I call wokes. They're not jokes. They don't know the difference between a good point and a good joke. John is very true to the muse. He takes a good point and he makes a good joke of it. John, it is a miracle to watch you work. You are a cure to what ails our culture. You are a voice that people consistently trust. I wish that you run for president. But I imagine it would be hard for a Coke guy to do. When you started your career, you never imagined that you would reach a point like this. And the Mark Twain Prize might feel like a finish line or an end to a movie. It is not. It is a starter gun. You were still young. You were still strong. You were still funny. And I do not have the words to say in front of these people how much I love you and how much I respect you. But just know, whenever you call on me, I will come, because you have been one of the greatest friends that I've made in 35 years. Congratulations. I'm honored that you got this award. I'm sorry I got it before you, but I'm your lucky lead-in. John Spill, ladies and gentlemen.
Every cent of that $12,000 ticket number. That was fantastic. Well, it was a pleasure to be here at the Illuminati bake sale, wherever this thing is that I'm at. I gotta tell you, I was nervous. Hey, how you doing? You know, it's funny when you see a black person in a room like that, you're like, oh, she owns BET. I normally don't do benefits. Not because I don't care, but because the crowds are historically stuffy. I like being judged. I love you, bro. In a very impersonal way, I should add. I can't even see who said that. I haven't been back in New York in a while, especially for something like this. I was here years ago. And it was one of those times my wife was mad at me because I had said something terrible. These things happen in a marriage. We always say the meanest things to the people we love the most. And it's not that we mean them, it's just that we know that these people love us and they'll let us say these things. It makes us feel better. So this particular time I was in town for a protest. It was during Occupy Wall Street. I wasn't here for Occupy Wall Street, I was here for a lesser known protest called Occupy Luxury Suite. It was day 6. I was bored, it was late in the afternoon, so I figured maybe I'd call some of my friends in New York and tell them I was in town, have a nice lunch. And I did. I called them up, we had made plans, and then I went outside to catch a cab. And that's when reality set in. I'm still black in America. It was 4 o'clock, it was hot. You know, New York gets in the summer when it's hot. It was that sweltering, do the right thing heat. And I'm standing out there trying to catch a cab, and I can't catch a cab to save my life. But then I remembered I was staying in a luxury suite, and there's a guy there that's supposed to help me out. So I go to him, and I say, sir, I'm having a very difficult time catching a cab, and I'm getting to the hotel. And he said, Mr. Chappelle, absolutely. Why don't you wait in the bushes, and we'll get a cab for you. And I said, that's a great idea. So I hide in the bushes, and I'm waiting for this guy to catch a cab, and it's taking him a long time too. And while I'm waiting, I see a homeless guy. I'm assuming he's homeless. He looked disheveled, and he was digging in the trash, but very deliberate, not an idle sifting. This guy was on a mission. He was digging in the trash real hard, and I was staring at him, not in a judgmental way. I was just looking like, damn, this guy's really digging in the trash. And as I said it, it was as if he heard me. And he looked directly at me while I was hiding in the bushes. And then he started walking directly towards me. And as he got closer, I could see that he recognized me. I could see him put my name together. Oh, not Chris. And as we got closer, on his face I saw hope and desperation. When he got real close, I couldn't take it anymore. It was too intimate. I screamed at him. I jumped out of the bushes. I said, don't come any closer. And he said, I just need some. I said, don't even finish that sentence. Get away from me. You stink. You stink, I said. And he looked at me and I saw fury in his eyes. And then I saw hurt. And then I saw resignation, like he remembered something. And then his eyes just drifted slowly down to his own tattered shoes. And instantly, when I saw that, I felt so much better. Just then my cab came and I jumped in my cab. I went uptown to a restaurant called Italy. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it. They served huge portions. I couldn't even finish my lunch. And they comped my lunch. And I was uptown, so I figured I'd do some shopping. And I did some shopping uptown. And then there I was in Columbus Circle, trying to catch a cab downtown. And again, racism reared its ugly head. I couldn't catch a cab downtown. And then I remembered, holy shit, I have $5 grand in cash on me. So I went across the street to Central Park South, and I caught a horse and buggy all the way from Central Park South back downtown to the village. It was beautiful. By this time, the sun was setting, and there was that orangish, purplish glow in the sky, and I had a blanket over my lap, concealing an erection that I had for absolutely no reason. It turned out to be a wonderful day. Then I got back to the hotel, and I guess who was across the street? The same homeless guy that I'd seen earlier. To be honest with you, the sight of him disgusted me. I ran to the hotel door, and the only thing that stopped me was I saw my own reflection in the glass. There I was, spaghetti sauce on my face from my expensive lunch, arms filled with shopping bags, and I must have reduced myself because I stood there for a very long time. And then, the story's going nowhere, but the guy that helped me earlier saw me and he said, Mr. Chappelle, are you okay? Do you need some help with your bags? And I said, no, I don't. I need you to just keep an eye on me because I have to go across the street and take care of something. And I ran across the street to that homeless guy that I'd seen earlier. And as soon as he saw me, he was mad. He said, I said, look, man, I'm sorry. That's why I came over here. I just wanted to let you know that it was wrong for me to say that. To be honest with you, I couldn't even smell you when I said it. I didn't know that you stunk, but you do stink now up close. And I just wanted to let you know that I was wrong, and I'm sorry. And his eyes softened. Now I couldn't see any anger or anything. Matter of fact, I couldn't even read his expression. He just looked at me for a long time. It made me very uncomfortable. He said, you know, deep down I think I'm around the sad again. Because I was wondering that I would run into you. I was going to put you in the stomach. It takes a real man to know when he's wrong. It takes is when I thought about you. He said, that's fucked up. What's going on? And I didn't think about you when I was shopping. And I bought you something, in case I might have saw it. He said, you bought something for me? I said, yes, I did. And I set all my shopping bags down, and he went up to that shopping bag, and he looked in there, he said, oh my God. I said, not that one, motherfucker, this one's for me. And I gave him a Macy's bag. He said, this is a brand new, lime green, velour, Sean John sweatsuit. I said, yeah, same shit puppy wears. And he said, man, thanks, young man. And he started to put it on right there on the street. I said, wait a minute, that's not all. Look in the pocket. They looked in the pocket. And he was like, is this a... I said, that's right. A marijuana cigarette? I said, it's not I smoke marijuana since Vietnam. Without smoking, if you smoke with me. Well, I hadn't planned on putting my lips on the same joint as you. Sure, why not? I'll light it first. And I lit the joint. We literally sat there on the dumpster right there in Soho. Smoke weed. Weed was home. Beard on that line green sweatsuit. Kind of looked like Oscar Rogers to some extent. I know you guys are mad right now. Who is this? We are all incredibly privileged people. And you know, I was the first guy on television to ever say give Donald Trump a chance. I know, I fucked up. I should have said that. Mistake on my part. Go to work, have a dream to go. It really is going bad. I think he's in trouble. I think like I'm worried about his well-being as a dude. He doesn't seem like he's... The guy held a press conference where he asked the media to stop finding shit out. He said, no. I don't think that's gonna work. You ever see that press conference? You know how scary the things that I feel like briefings are. I think you're supposed to do this answer. I was like, shit is scary. Who does that? Even as a parent, do you do that? So the kids don't pay you, I'm like, I'm afraid I was on the way, and I'm worrying this month, I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm just hoping I forgot the name. I don't know, maybe the last few more months. Every day when you wake up, you never know who's going to be next. Donald Trump. He's exciting like you thought a black president would have been. Actually back in the way we never bring the president to be back. That's cool. It is a great issue. Donald Trump said we should not let any Muslims into the United States until we can figure out what's going on. And I think that's way out of step with the way people feel in America. Am I wrong with that? Was it me? I think you guys are not a good gauge of how people actually feel. Regardless of rich white New Yorkers, you didn't even know he was going to win in the first place. The Jane Goodall of white people. I live amongst poor whites. I study. And I have no problem with any white person, but the poor whites are my least favorite. A lot of trouble from that. But I knew he was going to win. And I just felt like he was out of step. Like I feel like most Americans believe that we respect each other's beliefs, whether we share those beliefs or not. I know I feel like that. Even out there in Ohio, it's like that. I respect everybody's beliefs except for whatever Amish people believe. I can't stand seeing them. Actually, I took a long pause because I meant that shit. I didn't respect that. I was driving down the street and I said, not my Porsche, remember I said the Porsche buggies. All the Amish people know me, not from television, just because I stopped. sure God doesn't want you to have this technology. He said, you tried to tempt me like the devil. Devil, I'm trying to put you on the game. I just went 30 miles in 25 minutes. So then where was it going? You don't even know what the weather's going to be tomorrow, do you? You don't even know there's a valuable Pokemon on your shoulder. We don't let any more moms in the country till we figure out what's going on. I already know what's going on. It's like 17 mass shootings in the United States, 4 more done from Muslims, 7 countries that are banned have none of those 4 people from them. The other 13 shootings was done by crazy white people. You don't see us banning white people from benefits to keep the rest of the audience safe. Not only is it wrong, it would be catastrophic to the Robin Hood Foundation's bottom line. There were no white people here, we'd only raise $300, $400 tonight. We all need each other. Did he look at impeach Trump? No, I don't want that enthusiastic array. I want somebody, I know there's a guy who's on someone that's like, you'll see him slip. His wife still lives in New York, doesn't she? Nobody wants to, yeah, it's probably the wrong person. I forgot what I was going to say. I was Googling shit when I get on. Hey, how are you, man? You look great, by the way. They asked me to come here for 15 minutes. Sure they regret it. I am the other Westmore. I read that one. The other Westmore. I know Westmore is in here somewhere. Congratulations, West. Every time I see you, never met West personally, but I'm definitely impressed. You know, because I know West, is that you? Hey, man, it's very good to meet you.
Okay. Before I did Kill 'Em Softly, when I was 22, HBO gave me the biggest opportunity of my life at that time. They gave me a half-hour special, but this shit was not like a special, you know what I mean? It was like, it was generic. It didn't even have a title. It was just Dave Chappelle. And I shot it in San Francisco at a place called Broadway Studios, which is on the second floor of a building. And beneath Broadway Studios is a nightclub. And the special was only supposed to be 30 minutes. And I got ready, I practiced, I did all the shit I was supposed to do. And the night that I taped, 20 minutes into my 30-minute set, I'll never forget this, music started blasting from the nightclub underneath. You could hear it real loud, and it fucked my whole show up, and I was devastated. I was a young man. I really believed in what I was doing, and I thought that my dream had been killed. So when I got off stage, I ran down the steps to the alley behind Broadway Studios and where the control trucks are parked, and I kicked that motherfucking door open, and I started yelling at all the producers. I was nobody in show business, just a guy that believed in us. I said, man, you fucked everything up. That fucking music, what the fuck were you thinking? And there was a guy who was a big-time producer, I ain't saying no names, and he stood up, and he said, hey, kid, sit the fuck down. He said, we didn't ruin anything. He said, we made a deal with that nightclub to not play music, and they didn't honor the deal. And I said, who didn't honor the deal? And he pointed to a guy. I'll never forget it. It was an old white man sitting in the Ford Taurus by himself. And he said, that guy right there. And I didn't waste no time or ask no questions. I went to that Ford Taurus and I beat on that window and I said, open the door, motherfucker, I want to talk to you. And that old man looked at me for 1 second and wisely drove the fuck off. And left me in the alley cussing at anybody who would listen. And 2 minutes later, literally 120 seconds later, couldn't have been any more than that, the doors of the kitchen in the alley of that nightclub underneath Broadway Studios flung open. And that old man was standing there, that same old man with reinforcements. He had 2 big goons with him, and he looked at me, he was calm as a cucumber. He said, you, come here. I talk to you. I didn't know anything about the streets at this age. But I found out later in my life that these men were Russian mobsters. And I don't know what you guys know about the Russian mob, but these are the niggas that killed Denzel in Training Day. And all the producers knew what I was up against. They said, Dave, do not go in there. And I said, fuck y'all. And I walked right into that kitchen, and they closed the doors behind me, and it got dark as fuck in there. And I knew, I'm not dumb, I knew I was in a bad situation. But you have to understand, I believed in what I was doing, and I didn't give a fuck. Just kept cussing at these motherfuckers, telling them how they ruined my life. And that old man couldn't believe that I was talking all this shit. And as soon as I took a breath, he stopped me gently. He said, hey, kid, listen. Your friends lied to you. He said, we made a deal, but your friends never paid me. And when he said that, I realized I was locked in the kitchen. I realized he was telling the truth, which would make me wrong. And the very moment that I realized I was wrong, for the first time, I was afraid. You see, it's a funny thing if you believe you're absolutely right. You can get drunk off the feeling of how right you are. That's why gay people are so mean. But I didn't buckle. You guys would have been very proud of me. I was scared, but I didn't buckle. I said, well then, sir, I owe you an apology. But I believe that no matter what reason that music was playing, it ruined my life. And that old man looked at me with sympathy in his eyes. And he walked over to me and he gently placed his hand on my cheek, which I gotta tell you, is a very emasculating thing to do. I was standing there looking at this nigga's hand on my cheek like that. And he said, you are a real man. And he tapped me on my cheek. Real soft. Just like that. The doors opened back up. The light from the alley flooded into the kitchen. And I just walked out alive. I lived to fight another day. And in that moment, I learned one of the most valuable lessons of my life, and I have to share it with you. And that lesson is this. In your life, in any given moment, the strongest dream in that moment wins that moment. I am a very powerful dreamer. Yeah, I'm not lying. I dreamed tonight, this very night, as a 14-year-old boy, and I am living it as a 50-year-old man. My dreams are very strong. Today, I walked all around Washington. I used to be poor in this city, and all day people just said, hey Dave, like they knew me personally, and I felt like I knew them. And I say to myself, my God, Dave, what a powerful dream. But then sometimes I feel regular. Feel like myself. Maybe I'll smoke some weed and be in some nightclub and feel shy. But I'll look across a nightclub and I'll see some guy that no one's ever heard of. But this nigga worked all week and got bottle service. And his bitches bringing Moet with sparklers to him. I picture in my mind he's Persian. He's doing some kind of weird Persian dance. And he got 6 bitches at his table because he got so much liquor, and they all call him saying, go Cena, go Cena. And I'll be looking across the room like, oh my God, I'm in that guy's dream. I can hear him telling his friends, hey, how was the club last night? Man, that shit was fantastic. I had bottle service. I seen Dave Chappelle across the club looking at me like, ooh, who is that? And that's the trick to life. You have to be wise enough to know when you were living in your dream. And you have to be humble enough to accept when you're in someone else's. It's why I don't judge between Will Smith and Chris Rock. Because you guys look at them as big ideas, but I look at them as fellow dreamers. I can't judge between them because I see myself in both of them. I am Will Smith. I am the man that cannot take it anymore and will slap the shit out of the next person that says a crossword to me or somebody that I love. And I am Chris Rock. I am the man that can get slapped in front of the whole world and keep my composure so I don't fuck anything up. That is what men do. Men make boundaries. Men enforce boundaries. And men test boundaries. And no man tests more boundaries than a trans man. When I see a fellow dreamer, I give them my utmost respect, even if I don't understand what their dream is. I know a dreamer when I see one, and I've met many powerful dreamers in my life. None more powerful than a man who calls himself Little Nas X. I met this nigga at a party. I had no idea who he was. But the minute he walked in that party, I knew I was in his dream. Everybody in the party was another dreamer. Everyone was famous, but when that nigga walked in, he was dressed like C-3PO. He was shining. And everyone was like, oh my God, there he is. That's Little Nas X. I didn't know who he was. And for some reason, out of all them dreamers, he walked right up to me. And he said, I tried to get you in my video. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I said, what? I said, what? What video? And he was just looking at me like, you know what video. And walked away. And I watched him walk away. I said, man, this nigga's having a very powerful dream. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when we was in grade school. Remember in grade school, the teacher would ask everybody what they want to be? Timmy, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Timmy acted like he had an idea. He'd stand up and say, I want to be a fireman. And the teacher would say, Timmy, that is a beautiful dream. But Timmy didn't mean it. Timmy said he wanted to be a fireman because deep down, Timmy's attracted to fire. By the time he's 14 years old, this nigga's a full-blown pyromaniac, playing with kerosene and matches like a goddamn expert. And then one night he goes downtown with his buddies, fucking around with fire, and burns a warehouse down. And he doesn't know it, but there's 13 migrant workers from El Salvador, and they're in that motherfucker. They get trapped, and then they die in the fire. Isn't that a tragedy? Well, it was an accident. He's only 14 years old, but he's black. So they try him as an adult. And Timmy ends up spending the rest of his life in jail. Dream deferred. But what about you, Billy? Billy, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Billy stands up and he says, I want to be president of the United States. And he says, oh my God, Billy, that is a wonderful dream. And Billy means that shit. Billy does everything right. That motherfucker gets his grades up. He joins student government. He even does extracurricular activities like show choir just to make his resume look good. He's on track to be president, but junior year he wipes. When he's 16, he gets his girlfriend pregnant and has to drop out of high school to make ends meet. But lucky for him, the local Walmart's hiring. By By the time he's 20 years old, this motherfucker makes assistant manager at Walmart. He's the youngest one in the district. He says, oh my God, if I can keep this up for 4 more years, I could be a manager. And if I can keep this up for 6 more years after that, I could even be a regional manager and have as many as 3 Walmarts under my control. He's a big picture guy. He sees where this path is going, so he kills himself. Well, what about you? What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't understand. Because I don't want the other kids to laugh at me. Who cares if they laugh? Your dream is yours. Own your dream so they can come true. Say it loud and proud. What do you want to be when you grow up? Little nonsense. And that nigga stood up in front of the whole class. I want to be the gayest nigga that ever lived. I want to do a music video and slide down a stripper pole all the way to the depths of hell and suck the devil's dick at 10 o'clock on BET while all the kids are awake and can see me. Shockingly, that was the only dream that worked out. That's why I'm here tonight in the city where I built the dreams that I live, because I wanted to tell you all that they came true, and I wanted to thank you all for making the man that I am today. Yes, I am living a very powerful dream. Every time I come to this city and I stand in front of you, I realize that, my God, man, this is not my dream at all. It's yours. And I am honored to be in it. Thank you very much, Washington, D.C. I'll see you next time.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với video của em Nan ngày hôm nay nhé. Chào mọi người nhé. Đây là hôm nay em Nan sẽ giới thiệu cho mọi người, đó là một cái em ví đựng tiền, một ví cầm tay, ví đựng tiền, một cái gọi là trang sức, gọi là cái đồ trang sức của chúng ta, thời trang, một cái đồ làm thời trang, hoặc là một cái ví để chúng ta đựng tiền. Thì cái ví này của em Nam là sử dụng đựng giấy tờ và đựng tiền nhé. Đây ạ. Thì bên trong của em nó thì hiện tại em đang sử dụng đựng tiền để trả lại cho khách hàng ngày của em. Đây, mọi người thấy là đây là ví đựng tiền nhé. Đấy, tuy rằng không có nhiều nhưng mà cái em ví này đã theo em được 3 năm rồi đấy. Nó cũng hỏng hết rồi mọi người ạ. Đấy, như hôm nay chúng em sẽ review cái này nhé. Cái này thì là nếu mà nói mà em nói theo em được bao nhiêu lâu thì đó là em nói đã theo em được khoảng 10 năm nay rồi, nhưng mà chính thức vào sử dụng thì chỉ được 3 năm nay thôi. Còn trước đó thì em toàn cất một chỗ thôi, em chả dùng gì đến em ví này cả. Đấy, thế nên là ít khi sử dụng thì cái khóa bên trong mà nó cũng đang có hiện tượng hỏng rồi đấy mọi người ạ. Đấy, thì cái em ví này là được chồng em tặng. Cái sản phẩm này là được chồng em tặng ở lúc mới quen nhau sinh nhật từ năm 2014. Và sau lần sinh nhật đó tặng quà thì em không còn được món quà nào nữa. Đấy, mọi người, sau cái buổi nhận quà hôm đấy thì em không được quà nào nữa, nhưng mà em vẫn rất trân trọng em ví này là món quà của chồng em. Mặc dù 10 năm nay rồi mọi người cũng không sử dụng cái em ví này nữa, nhưng mà đối với em thì nó là một món quà, nên là em vẫn giữ gìn, em vẫn giữ lại. Chất da của nó thì rất là đẹp, 10 năm rồi nhưng chưa hề bị lỗ, bị vỡ này, xịn đét luôn này. Đấy, một em ví nó bị bung hết rồi mọi người ạ. Đây, mọi người có thể thấy là em này nó bị bung hết rồi. Em bảo là dán keo vào nhưng mà thôi em chả dán nữa, kệ nó, mình vẫn sử dụng được nên là thôi, sợ dán vào nó lại hỏng nên là em vẫn dùng. Thì hôm nay thì em sẽ review cái em ví đựng tiền này nhá mọi người nhé. Yếu tố phong thủy, vì mình sẽ nói đến những cái yếu tố phong thủy của ví đựng tiền này nhé mọi người nhá. Yếu tố phong thủy của ví đựng tiền là điều vô cùng quan trọng, ảnh hưởng trực tiếp đến tài vận của chủ nhân. Nếu bạn đang sử dụng ví một cách tự do, chỉ coi chúng như một phụ kiện thời trang hoặc một công cụ bảo quản tiền thì hãy dừng lại ngay nhé. Hãy chú ý tới yếu tố phong thủy để thu hút tài lộc, đón chào những điều may mắn ở những cái buổi review của em ngày hôm nay. Để chúng ta hiểu rõ hơn thì ví đựng tiền sẽ có những cái phong thủy như thế nào để tạo nên cho chúng ta hút thật nhiều tài lộc nha. Chọn ví phong thủy hợp tài lộc. Thì ví không chỉ là một vật đựng tài sản đơn thuần đấy, cũng không chỉ là một vật phụ kiện thời trang, mà trong phong thủy có chứa trong phong thủy ví có chứa và thu hút năng lượng có thể tác động tốt hoặc có thể tác động xấu tùy thuộc vào bệnh và loại ví mà người đó chọn. Ví dụ như vì thế phong thủy của ví đựng tiền bạn cần quan tâm nếu có ý định mua ví nhé. Vậy những yếu tố phong thủy nào quyết định nên tài vận của một chiếc ví? Màu sắc và cả thiết kế, hình thức và là điều quan trọng. Đấy. Khi chúng ta mua ví thì chúng ta phải nhớ nghĩ đến phong thủy của em nó nhé. Màu sắc, thứ nhất là chúng ta phải tìm hiểu đến màu sắc. Không phải tự nhiên mà khi đi mua ví nhiều người lại nghĩ đặt tiêu chí là màu sắc lên hàng đầu. Cũng như những món đồ trang sức hay phụ kiện thì màu sắc của những chiếc ví da cũng ảnh hưởng tới tài vận của chủ nhân. Vì thế thì nên chọn những loại ví phù hợp với mệnh của mình. Lưu ý là lưu ý này đặc biệt quan trọng đối với những người làm kinh doanh đấy. Theo quy luật của ngũ hành phong thủy thì mỗi màu sắc sẽ mang lại một nguồn năng lượng, ý nghĩa khác nhau. Vì thế chọn màu sắc nào là màu sắc cũng chính là lựa chọn điều bạn mong muốn. Ý nghĩa đặc biệt của đối với công việc tiền tài của bạn. Cụ thể màu sắc với những chiếc ví ý nghĩa đem lại là màu đen. Thì đen là màu sắc được xem cho sự khởi nguồn của những màu sắc cơ bản được sử dụng phổ biến nhất. Trong màu đen có sự hội tụ của hai yếu tố là ổn định và thăng tiến, giàu có, thịnh vượng. Vậy nên bạn muốn tìm kiếm một cơ hội nào cao hơn trong công việc thì những chiếc ví màu đen hoàn toàn phù hợp với bạn. Đấy, tuy nhiên thì bạn cần xem xét lại xem màu đen có hợp với bảng mệnh của bạn hay không. Trong trường hợp xấu, xung khắc thì bạn không nên tích lũy, không tăng tiến và có thể mang lại những điểm xấu, rủi ro cho bản thân mình. Màu nâu, đấy, những chiếc ví màu nâu thì được rất nhiều người sử dụng. Màu sắc giúp cho chủ sở hữu có sở hữu chi tiết có kế hoạch, đấy, không tiêu tiền một cách phung phí, biết dùng tiền vào đúng mục đích để mang lại những cái nguồn thu lớn hơn và tiết kiệm. Đấy, tích lũy mang nhiều hơn, tích lũy được nhiều hơn. Vì thế nếu bạn mệnh phù hợp với màu nâu và bạn có là một người có chút phóng khoáng, dễ tiêu xài, phung phí thì một chiếc ví màu nâu sẽ vô cùng hợp với bạn nhé. Màu đỏ, đây chính là màu đỏ em đang dùng đây nhé. Nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm một sự may mắn, lựa chọn nửa kia của cuộc đời mình thì hoặc là muốn có một mối quan hệ tốt hơn trong công việc thì chiếc ví màu đỏ có thể giúp bạn thực hiện điều đó. Màu đỏ mang lại may mắn, tình yêu trong các mối quan hệ. Màu đỏ giúp chúng ta trở nên tốt đẹp hơn. Đấy. Màu xanh này, màu xanh là một màu tượng trưng cho sự phát triển và thăng tiến, đi lên. Thì do đó thì màu sắc còn đặc biệt thích hợp với doanh nhân, những người muốn tìm cho mình một cơ hội mới thì chúng ta có thể lựa chọn màu xanh nhé. Màu vàng, màu này thì mang ý nghĩa to lớn, giúp cầu tài, mang đến sự giàu có và tiền tài. Theo phong thủy thì màu vàng có thể giúp kiểm soát dòng chảy của tiền tài. Vì thế nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm một sự thịnh vượng thì đây chính là màu sắc của chiếc ví dành cho bạn. Mỗi màu sắc sẽ luôn đem lại cho mình một ý nghĩa khác nhau. Vì để có những chiếc ví đặc biệt và phù hợp với bạn thì cần lại xem lại mệnh của mình, xem đâu là màu sắc tương sinh và đâu là màu mang lại những cái nguồn năng lượng tốt cho mệnh của mình nhé. Chọn vị trí, chọn ví theo các kiểu dáng đơn giản. Ngoài việc lựa chọn những chiếc ví theo màu sắc để giúp đem lại tài lộc thì chọn ví theo những cái kiểu dáng là một cách mà bạn xua đi những cái đen đủi, mang đến sự thuận lợi cho con đường tiền tài của mình. Mỗi dáng ví luôn có những ưu điểm riêng. Mỗi mẫu thuận tiện để lưu trữ tiền mặt, có thể thiết kế đơn giản và tiện cho việc sử dụng thẻ ATM của mỗi chiếc ví đựng thẻ đều có thể thể hiện được phong cách và thu hút may mắn một cách khác nhau. Đấy. Khi chúng ta lựa chọn ví thì bạn nên ưu tiên những mẫu ví dáng dài. Điều này đồng nghĩa với việc những tờ tiền luôn được xếp ngay ngắn, phẳng phiu, không nhăn nheo, gãy rách. Nhờ đó mà tài lộc được thu hút nhanh gia tăng và ngầm khẳng định rằng bạn may mắn không thể nào bạn may mắn không hề bị hao hụt trong quá trình lưu trữ và sử dụng. Đấy. Lúc mua một chiếc ví về thì chúng ta có thể kích hoạt những cái điều may mắn này. Đối với tiền xu, nếu như bạn có tiền xu, hãy dùng dây chỉ hoặc dây duy băng màu đỏ sâu qua 3 đồng tiền xu cổ đó rồi đặt vào ngân ví cùng với tiền mặt. May mắn sẽ nhanh đến kéo đến với bạn. Đối với tiền giấy, nhiều người cho rằng đồng đô la Mỹ sẽ mang tới sự may mắn và hút tiền tài, thì bạn sẽ sở hữu chúng và cho chúng vào trong ví và đặt tờ 2 đô vào thì chúng ta sẽ trở nên giàu có hơn. Đấy là cái quan niệm về chiếc ví của mình nhé. Bye bye và hẹn mọi người những video sau.